Yeah, I also think that men in particular, a lot of men, have a desire to compete in things. And if you're not competing with yourself, like you're not running and trying to like make your time better or working out or whatever the thing that's difficult to do, if you don't have one of those, then you start using whatever your job is or whatever your ideology is as your way of competing. And you try to enforce it on people or come up with better arguments or dunk on the people that disagree or, harshly criticize them as a human being because you have differing opinions. And what is your personality like? Like, is this your identity? Are you fighting for this? You see this a lot with like these really aggressive liberal men. Like, it seems to be their station in life. They're the watchman on the tower. There's like this aggressive, and it's generally these weak, really weak, physically weak, mentally weak men that have adopted this aggressive stance. Like, finally, like, they're the bullies now, and they're gonna go out. It's interesting. So if you talk to someone that has like that sort of a philosophy, if you just talk to them about general life enough, it sort of reveals itself, the cracks in the way they think and the lack of character and the lack of discipline and most importantly, the lack of compassion. When people disagree with someone and they hate them as a human being because they have differing ideas, instead of saying, I think that if I talk to them, I could give them my perspective and maybe it would be enlightening or maybe we would find common ground. No, it's like hate them as a person. And it's cherished. It's saluted online in the mental illness known as social media, the mental illness factory. These people are all like engaging in this back and forth. And you see these people that have finally found their competitive realm. And that flavors a big part of why men talk and behave that way. There's an instinct to want to be good at a thing and beat people at a thing, whether it's chess or whether it's golf, whatever it is. There's a thing, and maybe for you it's politics. And for a lot of guys, I know it's politics because I see them online. I see what they're doing. I see the writing they're doing. They're just fishing for the right words and saying the right things to try to dunk on people. It's just their little competitive venture.
It's a fear-based response, I think, a lot of it. It's something that I've tried to look at now. When I see people get aggressive, when I see people behave in a certain way, I'm like, oh, you're scared.
Yeah.
You're
see
scared.
That from the right, too.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
The really shitty right-wing people that are very dismissive of entire swaths of people and culture and don't take into consideration the nuance involved in, say, like crime-ridden areas and how those things became that way in the first place. All that pulled them up by their bootstraps bullshit. All that no need for any social safety net stuff. Like all that like lack of compassion, lack of caring about people that masquerades as conservatism. Yeah. That's just as gross.
And there's a kind of wokeification that's happening on the right. They've got their own conspiracies, their own little trigger points, all of these ideas.
Do they? Like, what's a big one?
Well, I wrote a piece actually when Tucker went to Moscow because I thought that his conversation with Putin I clearly didn't go the way he intended, but it was fine. I had no issue with him interviewing Putin. But the videos he did afterwards, he was kind of like, it felt to me like he was starting to, the woke people, they hate America and they hate everything the West stands for. And there is a movement on the right where it's like they hate the elite so much that they will go to Russia and be impressed and think that the food is cheaper when it's 3 times more expensive for the average person.
In Russia it is?
Yeah, of course.
So was he trying to say it was cheaper?
He did say it was cheaper, yeah.
So
and objectively, it is cheaper, as in if you come in with your American salary. But comparatively, it's much more expensive.
Because Russian salary is far less.
Right. So they spend 3 times as much money on food. He talked about how they have these shopping carts when you return it, right? And all of this stuff.
Don't you just have to become an oligarch then? That's easy. And you have all the money in the big yacht.
It's very, very hard nowadays.
Yeah, they steal your yacht.
Yeah. So in the 90s, the oligarchs basically seized all the money, and then Putin came in and he got rid of all the oligarchs, and all his buddies are now the oligarchs.
Yeah.
Like it's been like nationalized, the corruption.
Yeah.
I bet they have great parties though.
They do. But
imagine partying with Putin. That'd be so scary.
But you can't go too near the balcony because a lot of their balconies are slippy and they fall off.
Oh yeah.
Have
people get drunk, vodka, they slip.
Yeah.
They just slip and fall and die, man. Yeah, exactly.
Listen,
exactly.
We just shoot drones at people. Okay, it's like both of them do shady shit. If you look at all the people that have died in mysterious ways in this country, where it's a little suspect that maybe there was some government involvement.
Right.
Yeah.
We recently killed our president. You know,
We just had Michael Francis on. Do you know him?
I've seen him online.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
Well, it was an interesting conversation about the mafia life and everything else. But when we did the paywall section for locals at the end, he talked about how, like, it was an open secret in his circles that the mafia killed JFK. Basically, that was his take.
Yeah, and they were talking about it for ages, and they were even joking about it. So when, for instance, Bobby went after the mob, people in the mob were going, killed the wrong Kennedy. You know, and he was saying that it was J. Edgar Hoover who was in cahoots with the mafia. And the thing with J. Edgar Hoover was he was gay, mafia ran gay clubs, they had the dirt on him being a gay man, which whenever this was in mid-60s, early 60s, you couldn't be an openly gay man.
Right, and he was also a guy who, of course, if you're going to be the guy that has secrets, you want the secrets on everybody else. So that's what he did. Like J. Edgar Hoover was famous for that.
Yeah.
This guy would bring you into the office and show you pictures of you fucking some lady that's not your wife. You got any questions? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I think you know how to vote, right? Yeah, do that.
Yeah.
Stay the fuck out of my office.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, dirt back then, there was no internet. If they put in a story about you, you're fucked. It's rap. Everyone's gonna believe it. There's no way you're like, that's not even real. It's Photoshop. Like, there's so many of the photos of Lee Harvey Oswald that are in dispute. And one of them, it's a really weird one. It's him standing there with a rifle, standing in the backyard. And photo experts have looked at it and go, this is like, the shadows are all wrong here. Like, this photo looks manipulated. Like, they just take this photo of Lee Harvey Oswald, have him holding up some agenda, or I forget what it was, and a rifle. I'm like, have you ever seen that photo?
Nope.
See if you can find that. I would like to know if, like, real photography experts have ever examined it. Because I know that it's a subject of a lot of controversy. They think it was a doctored photo. But he most certainly was a CIA guy. He went to Russia. He married a Russian lady. They let him come back over here. Like, they were probably all in on it. He was probably in on it too. And they probably had him set up as being the dummy that they were going to say. And then they had Jack Ruby set up to kill him. So that's it. We're done here. And until the Zapruder film got aired on Geraldo Rivera's show, no one had any idea there was some weirdness to that assassination. Everybody assumed Lee Harvey Oswald was a terrible man and he shot our favorite president. And then, you know, this guy who ran a club hated him because he shot the president, so he shot him. And that's it. Good night.
Mate, it's just when you look at these types of things, and the more you dig, the more you kind of realise that there's cover up upon cover up upon cover up, and what is initially being fed to you ain't the truth.
So here's the photograph. Do they think it's legit here? Settling the controversy over photo of Lee Harvey Oswald. This is from Dartmouth, so you know that it's corrupt and funded by the Chinese. Just kidding.